Yesterday on this program, we spoke to Dr. Adebajo, who was declared the runner-up after the Labour Party held a primary election for the forthcoming House of Representatives by-election for the Surulere 1 federal constituency of Lagos State. During the interview, Dr. Adebajo alleged that the process that governed the electoral exercise and its outcome was at variance with the standing rules of the party and was therefore devoid of transparency and justice. Well, for a right of reply, we are now being joined here in the studio by the declared winner of that primary election, Adeola Adebanjo. It's good to have you on Newsday.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here today.
All right, then, Mr. Adebanjo, first of all, I want to say congratulations on emerging as the Labour Party candidate for the Surulere federal constituency by-election. However, the reason why you're here is because yesterday we listened to Dr. Adebayo, who received 6 votes, you won by 12 votes, and she did make suggestions to irregularities in the process. She referred to the fact that her agent wasn't let in, and even the way the vote in itself was conducted was a bit funny, so to speak. How would you respond to these allegations, and what assurances can you provide about the fairness and credibility of the process?
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Engineer Adebanjo Adeola. I'm the candidate representing Surulere 1 Labour Party candidate. The primary election was a very free and fair election. Went successfully peaceful. There was no issue with the primaries. Everything was done accordingly to the law of the party. Before the primary election, we have the World Congress, in which that was the place we were able to choose the delegates for the primaries to take place. And that Congress happened on a Thursday, in which INEC was present, the police were there, security apparatus were present, and everybody over there that same day were able to elect the delegates for each of the wards. In Surulere Constituency 1, we have 6 wards. And that particular day, we have 3 people being elected at each of the wards, which was on a Thursday. And those names were being submitted to INEC on Friday. And there was a space interval for you to complain if there is any irregularity or any issue within the Congress that was done to select delegates. And after that, the primaries was done on a Sunday, in which the 3 aspirants, not only Dr. Folashade was there, we have Barrister Isuji was there as well. There were 3 aspirants in that place, and we went for the primaries. And getting there, we have the 18 delegates that were meant to vote for the primaries. We have the INEC from the national, the federal INEC. We have the state INEC present. We have our national representative. We have the organizing secretary of the party. We have the police there. We have the soldiers. We have all the 18 delegates, and we have the electoral committee to conduct the primaries that were there. We even have Arise TV channels, and everybody was present in that primaries. And at the end of the day, even INEC said, out of all the primaries conducted in Lagos, Labour Party is the most organized primaries that was done. I think in politics, we don't win always. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. 3 of us were present there. All the 18 delegates were there. The ballot box was in front of 3 of us. Each person was given the form to pick the candidates in which he wants. And at the end of the day, I scored 12, she scored 6. And when I was watching the clip, I was so surprised when he said Adebanjo's name was being called 10 times. No, it was called 8 times. I was the candidate in 2023 for this same position. I'm closer to the grassroots. Politics is local, and it's about the grassroots. You have to understand how politics play. Politics is local. How close are you to the people? Folashade believes that his own style of politics is politics at the national level, believing that they can give order for that primaries. Even up to that election day, she was not ready for the primaries. She was saying that affirmation should be done by the national for her to be the candidate of the party, and which I insisted I want a free and fair election, and let's go for the primaries. And she said, okay, if it's a free and fair. 2 days before the election, she was saying she wants affirmation. I said, we have to do primaries. Everybody have paid for their form. Everybody is an aspirant. We have to go for the election. And because the people believed in me, because they've seen me, they've seen what I've done in the past, even after losing the election in 2023 when I was out of the ballot on election day, I still stood with the party. Even at the state level, I'm closer to the party. At the local government, I was doing everything to ensure that Labour Party is being known in that local government, even to the world level. So there is nothing like anything done in it. Not everything was done peacefully.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great. But there are also allegations that you're not from that constituency.
Yeah.
How true is that?
That's, in politics, a lot of people brings a lot of stories and a lot of stories putting it on board.
Is that story true?
It's not. How would that be true? Let me tell you my history in Labour Party. I was the former secretary of the party. From the former secretary to the deputy chairman of the party. And I played a major role for even us to have candidates in the last election through the court process. I was running from one place for ensure that Labour Party is on that ticket. So people would just come up one morning and start bringing different news. If I was not a member of Surulere Constituency 1, why would delegate vote for me?
You can tell us.
No, I'm just surprised because I'm closer to the grassroots. If you go to Surulere today, Skella has been known as a nickname because everybody who understands this game. I was on the ballot in 2023. So if I have that kind of allegation, that should be brought forward. And even this person talking about the election was not free and fair, that said I'm not from Surulere. Even on the civil service law, you must have resigned 3 months before contesting for any position. She's a medical doctor. She's still working. She said she resigned December 27th, which is just 2 weeks to primaries. It's not done anywhere. Even the person talking that somebody is not from Surulere, she's not following the due process. One of the reasons why she was saying that they should do affirmation from the national level was because she knew what she was doing. And I've tried to approach her that politics is not being played this way. I won't go on that level. This is my party. I want us to unify because we have a bigger fight ahead.
Speaking about a bigger fight ahead,
Yeah.
First off, outside of even the fact that, there are claims that you're not from the Surulere constituencies, you also mentioned that there was someone, a female delegate who had voted, she didn't mention her name, who also wasn't validated to vote in that constituency.
Yeah.
But outside of that, talking about the cumbersome, or let's say the almost, you look at the bylaw elections and the need for electoral reforms.
Yeah.
Considering as the LP candidate, going forward, we have about 2 minutes. How do you plan to make it easier, for the voting process, so that in the future there aren't instances like this where it seems as if there's a lot of mystery surrounding that process?
Thank you very much. Let me come back. The primaries, before the primaries was being done again, there was something called Congress, in which delegates are to be chosen. And we have 3 delegates from each ward. And between Thursday and Friday, that election was done in the morning across all the 6 wards in Surulere Constituency 1. There was room for you to appeal if there was anybody that is not a real delegate between Thursday and Friday morning. She had the confidence, believing that the national was going to give an order for them to tell the party at the state level to ensure that she's the candidate. All the delegates, people that voted, those 18 delegates were members of Labour Party, members of Surulere Constituency 1, and they are doing their work from the grassroots. Most of them are the women leader, the youth leader, and the ward chairman. From all these are just bringing different stories. In life, it's not always every time you win.
But do you agree with her when she says that when it comes to the constitution of the Labour Party and you look at the elements that have to do with voting, that it's rather ambiguous and not clear? Do you agree with that aspect?
That voting was very easy.
The Constitution. She says that what has to do with voting, that the provisions for voting in the Constitution is ambiguous. Do you agree that that's the case?
No, we follow the Constitution of the party. The party said before the primaries should be done, initially it should be the ward chairman, the women leader, and the youth leader. But later on, the Constitution stipulated that there have to be a Congress before the primaries. That primaries followed due process. Everything followed the Constitution of the party, and in which there was nothing bogus. Everything was done it was just the Constitution.
I understand, but if one take the feedback that she gave, she's saying that it's ambiguous. So is it something that you might be willing to look at? Because that's still feedback. It might not, the process might not be perfect, but is that something you're willing to look at?
No, for me, the process is very perfect. Very perfect. I didn't see anything wrong with the process. Even all the national TVs were there. if there was any maneuver stuff over there, if there was any irregularity, the TV station will pick it up. INEC will not. They asked both of us after the primaries that, did you all agree to the result of the primaries for us to sign? And she said yes. And she went to sign. The other guy signed. I signed. The INEC from the national signed. The state INEC signed. The police signed. And the person at the national level signed. So for me, I think we just have to come together and move forward and ensure we are victorious in this forthcoming election. I want the people to know that Labour Party is ready for this election. We are ready to beat anybody for this election. We are well prepared and we know that victory is ascertained.
All right, and thank you so much, Engineer Adebanjo. Emerging candidates for the Labour Party candidate for the Surulere Federal Constituency. We appreciate your time here in the studio.
And all the best.